Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host,
Grandma Gail.
Okay, guys, we are joined by Hunter March. You might know him from his many hosting gigs. He's a comedian. He's also a producer. I was first familiar with Hunter from being a host on E! Reporting on entertainment news. He's hilarious. And he also hosts the dating advice podcast Friends with Benz. And his newest venture is Crowdpleasers, which is a blind dating show. We're going to ask him all about that. Hunter, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Hunter. I love his name.
Thank you both.
I love your name. I mean, that in itself should go up in lights. It's beautiful. Better than Grandma Gail, that. Hunter March and lights. I love that.
Oh no, Grandma Gail's already got the TikTok following though. It might be easier to put that up in lights. Yeah, thank you for the intro. That's you are an entertainment host yourself with the intro like that. I mean, you're perfect. Put you on.
Thank you. Well, I used to do it a little bit. That's actually how I met Scott, who introduced Hunter and I, who's also a personality.
Well, Scott says hi. Scott says hi with a wink in his eye. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Okay, by the end of this, you might be winking too. We'll see. Okay,
need a double wink.
Let's start with age, relationship status, and where you live.
Well, the wink might have to wait then because I just got into a relationship. My first my first serious relationship in a while. And this is kind of breaking news. No one really knows.
Wow, we're honored.
Does she know?
She'll find out when she listens to the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't talked about it because I'm pretty private about all that stuff. But I also understand that it's important to a lot of people in different ways and different exposures. Personally, I hate like my private life being public, which is a weird thing considering what I do, but I never wanted to be an influencer. I just wanted to like be funny, and I've had previous relationships that were super public, so nobody knows who she is. Good. I'd like to keep it that way for a little bit longer, but I know that that's also impossible in the long run.
No, but you can try. I mean, Kimmy feels the same way. I mean, we can joke about dating and about all the problems with dating, but your own personal thing, you always keep sort of quiet. And that's we respect that.
Yeah, it's just hard when like yourself, you're in the public eye, right. But like if somebody who wasn't posted their girlfriend on Instagram, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. And I mean, I think a lot of girls like expect for their boyfriend to post them. So I guess it's just a conversation you have to have with her about privacy, right?
Yeah, and I think for a lot of couples too, posting each other is a form of like insane validation, like a level of validation that doesn't exist pre-social media. And when you have someone that has a lot of followers or two people that have a lot of followers, all of a sudden that validation is like exponential because you're getting told how pretty the couple is and how great you guys are and blah, blah, blah. But then also like, as soon as you have any sort of disagreement or any, it's like now all of a sudden the public, you invited them into the good parts and now they think they've earned the right to be a part of the drama.
Of your relationship. And that you're right. And you really have to keep it out of the public area. It's not smart. So now let's hear about your work.
We could also talk about the relationship. I don't mind. I just, who she is, I will keep secret, but I'll say anything. I love being in a relationship. It's great.
Really? So wait, how long were you single before?
I dated a few people for like a couple months at a time. And then I was dating, going on dates for about 6-7 years. But before that, I was in a 5 or 6 year relationship. And then it ended. I was like,
wait, sorry, did you say your age?
How old and you're getting to be my age soon, Hunter.
I'm 32.
How many relationships could you have? You were like 8 years old when this started.
Are you? Well, I'm 32. Are you also 32, Gail?
I'm 32. A little bit more. A tad less. A tad more.
That makes Kim very young.
Very,
weirdly young.
Very young.
So, okay, what initially drew you to the world of entertainment and hosting?
I think for me, I always wanted to be an entertainer. I liked the idea of making people laugh. I think before I even knew that was the driving force, I just wanted to be in front of people. But I wasn't funny when I was a kid yet. Like I hadn't learned that skill. So instead, when you want to be funny, but you're not you're what kids call very annoying.
Mm.
And that was like the bane of my existence growing up. It was like a knife to my heart every time someone said that. So I think just naturally I tried my hardest to be funny for my entire life. And eventually I think I got kind of funny. I get paid to do it, so I must be
Yeah.
doing okay.
Exactly.
But I've never heard someone say they learned to be funny. I feel like people are just naturally.
No, I don't know if that's true. I think it's very serious people are comedians. I think you have to know what you're good at making fun of, and sometimes it's not funny, and sometimes it is.
Well, yeah,
So
it's like
you
a
get
muscle. Like
right.
you learn how to like
Exactly.
train it,
Yeah.
but you have to have it in you.
Well,
I,
or-
to a degree,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. But I also think the people who seem effortlessly funny usually went through some shit when they were
Training.
young.
Right.
Yeah, they don't even realize that that was trained to be funny. But like when you have this is not my situation, but I know a lot of friends who have like narcissistic parents. And then when that happens, you now have to balance everyone's emotions. And so one way to do that is humor.
Right.
Or you don't have your parents in the picture, and all of a sudden you need to like, make people like you so that you can get taken care of as a kid. There's a lot of reasons people become funny and they don't think about it. But for me, because it was not only the coping mechanism, but the goal, I was so aware of comedy.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you have a girlfriend and you have narcissistic parents. We've learned a lot. So you're I've seen you post your dad before. You guys are close, right?
Super close. Me and my dad are super close. Me and my mom are also very close. She's my best friend. But my dad, I've like learned as I've gotten older, is not as cool as I thought he was when he was a kid. Like the things I thought were cool when I was a kid was like that he was like aggressive and could beat anyone up. And I'm like, Jesus, Dad, get back in the car. You're embarrassing us.
Yeah, that's funny because usually people say their parents are so annoying when they're younger, and then later in life they kind of appreciate them more. But that's kind of the opposite.
It depends how you see them.
Yeah,
Everybody sees things through a different color lens. So what he thought was cool, now that he's an adult, realizes it wasn't so cool. Sometimes they might say inappropriate things. Or you know that story.
I do.
Oh yeah.
So I think, at different stages in your life, you all of a sudden have different outlooks about your parents or your grandparents.
Yeah. Were you close with your grandparents?
I actually only met one of my grandparents. It was my grandma Candy, and I was very close with her, but she passed when I was young. My grandfather was actually a very famous television host in the 60s and 70s. He hosted the $64,000 Question was his show.
Really? I would.
Yeah,
watch
Hal
that.
March.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
So
but I never met him.
A long line. Well, but it's in your blood. It's in your blood.
That's what they say. But TV hosts, like if they took a little sample of my blood and they saw a bunch of little blood cells hosting television shows, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But it's so weird to think that like I never met this person, and yet I ended up in the same peculiar career. Because I've hosted game shows now. I've hosted the competition shows and the news. So I've kind of done everything he's done.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. It is interesting.
And the new show, Crowdpleasers, I was looking a little bit at the first episode. And that's kind of similar, I think, to like, have you ever seen The Dating Game?
Totally.
And that was like your vintage a little bit?
Well,
or no?
A little later, but
all
right.
Okay.
Mine is like the prehistoric animals when they're walking on the earth.
Animal Planet. Yeah. Okay.
We had games.
No, what I thought
television was just starting when I
Why did you think that was like the 60s?
Was like Milton Girl, and that was it. And Mexico Hour. I mean, you're dealing with the 50s. I think the games came in a little later, like in the 60s, late 60s.
Well, Hunter, tell us about the show and like how the format works.
Well, yeah, for me, I love hosting in general, but my favorite thing to host is dating because everyone's invested. Everyone, whether you're in a relationship, not in a relationship, whether you're on the show or in the audience, like everybody wants to see two people either fall in love or you want to see the cringe of just like, oh, they're not meant to be. And so this originally started as a television show we were going to pitch, and then we were just like, you know what, let's just do it on our own and let's make it a live show. And so the idea of Crowdpleasers is you come to this live blind dating show, one bachelor or bachelorette, and then 6 potential options behind a curtain. They can't see each other, but the audience, after each round of questions, they get to decide who gets eliminated from the show. So if you're in the audience, based on applause. You decide who this person ends up with. And we just thought, if you're going to do a live show, make it engaging, make it fun. And we are beyond excited. We have to sell like 500 tickets now. We kind of oversold ourselves a little bit, but we've actually sold a bunch of tickets already. And so it's exciting. It's going to be a crazy show when it happens.
So it's definitely going on one of the big channels, or is it going?
No, it's a live show, like you buy a ticket and go in person.
Oh, it's a regular show, like in a theater.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was going on TV.
Well, it's also on YouTube, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's also
okay.
going on my buddy David's channel, and he's got, you know, 1 million something subscribers. So hopefully we can do this regularly. But yeah, it's at the Regent Theater in downtown LA, which is like an iconic venue. So if it goes well, I'm happy to talk about it again. But if it doesn't go well, let's never
do something else. That's all.
Yeah, it never
bring it up.
The episode won't come out.
Yeah.
So is the goal to, after the first one, if it does well, like to have them frequently, or what's your vision?
Absolutely. I would love to tour with something like this because every city, I just think it's got to be so different dating in the
Small
Dakotas
town.
versus LA or New York.
Right.
And the idea of getting like these people who just have different lifestyles, different dating styles, and seeing how they might act on a dating show is really exciting me. So I don't want to just do it in LA, New York, but it's definitely easier because
I think it would be more interesting actually getting out of New York and LA. I think it would be more fun because you really have a whole different set of scenarios.
Yeah, but New York and LA are so diverse, like that it doesn't.
That's true. That's true.
Like, you're always going to get a mixed bag.
Very big city attitudes. And when you get out of the big city, people are just so nice. We found that on a plane recently coming home from Montreal. The stewardess was, "Can we help you? Can we put your bag up?" When was the last time somebody in LA or New York asked you to put the bag up?
No.
I mean, you know, could we give you another bottle of water? Is there anything we could do for you? If she could have picked
so
us up.
lovely.
So I said, there are different, when you go to different places outside of a big city, you do get different perspectives, and certainly in dating and what they're going to like and what they're going to dislike, their expectations are different.
But it's also like interesting in this kind of format because I feel like it's more like sexy, fun, whatever. Because the questions aren't like truly how many kids do you want? Like, what are you looking for? It's not like serious.
No.
Like, so it's more just like the entertaining and the fun, and like hopefully they'll go on a first date or something after that. But you're not like making love, like marriages.
You're not making a match.
Maybe. The comedy,
maybe.
Yeah, the goal of the show is that you have the best time of your life and laugh for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're asking questions instead of how many kids do you want, which also on first dates, I feel like people lie a lot on first dates. You know, like you ask someone what they want, and then maybe like a few months later they go, "By the way, I don't really want kids. I just kind of, you know," and you're like, "Why'd you say that then?" You know,
really,
so
I feel like that's something that like is not worth lying about. Like, there's other lies for sure that are told, but like if someone says 2 versus 4, like that doesn't change.
About 2 versus
0 is different. Yeah.
2 versus 0. But I also feel like, Kim, you are, you know, I have a girlfriend. I'm gonna preface this, but you're gorgeous and talented and smart, and you are very confident and secure. And so you would never have a reason to lie on a date. But there are a lot of people who maybe be on a date with anybody, especially on a date with you, who might feel like, "Oh, well, she said she wants this. I really want to impress her.
Yeah.
And I really want," I'd be like, "I'm open to," you know, they might say like, "I'm open to kids too." So our show instead is more like, if you had to describe your sex life as a movie, how would you describe it?
Yeah.
And then it's Die
Wait,
Hard,
so what's
obviously.
the answer? Let's all answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah, horror movie.
Sex life is a movie. There's just there's too many movies to pick. I would say Die Hard.
Wait, I never saw that.
That's one of
You
those
never saw Die Hard?
Crashes into a wall.
No, is it?
Yeah,
it's an action movie?
It's Bruce Willis, isn't it? Die Hard.
It's Bruce Willis. I'll change.
Why would I know this? I don't like those kind of movies, but I do know that he was.
So that because that's
I
know that that's an iconic movie. I just never saw it.
Movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's an iconic
More
Christmas
of a
movie,
picnic.
actually.
Why?
Because I think you are more of the picnic movie.
Oh, okay. I'll go with that.
Kim Novak
Right.
going in that.
Why? Because it's like romantic.
romantic.
Yeah. I
Sex in the
old.
City, the movie.
No.
God.
I
No.
don't think so.
No, none of us want to be Sex in the
No,
City.
I'm good.
Especially two. Nobody wants to deal
Yeah,
with that.
definitely not the second one. Definitely not the series.
Right. Definitely none of it.
Yeah. Are you watching this show, Hunter? Like the reboot?
No, I've never watched more than clips of Sex in the City.
In the beginning,
Oh,
it was great.
it's
It was really
amazing,
quite.
yeah.
Well, that wasn't amazing, but
the
it was
first
fun.
series?
It was fun. It was fun. It was a little ridiculous after a while, but once they got rid of Mr. Big or whatever.
No. I meant like the early 2000s show. Like the
the beginning.
I thought it was really
good.
yeah.
It was good in
Okay.
the beginning,
Yeah, I
but
thought it
then
was good. I thought it was more than good.
Okay.
But the second one, no. But I was gonna ask your opinions on some other pop culture topics too.
All right, so
Give them to me. This reminds me of before I got fired from Nightly Pop. So let's go.
But I was gonna ask what happened with Nightly Pop. What with
Nightly
E?
Pop. Well, so we did the show for 4 years. We did 650 episodes or
Crazy.
something.
Right.
And then I had to have back surgery, and I woke up from back surgery to my agent calling me, being like, "Hey, how was surgery?" I was like, "Good." And then she's like, "Okay, I hope you're sitting down." I was like, "I can't stand yet."
Right. Yeah, in a
So,
brace.
she was like, Nightly Pop is canceled, and they just had like a big announcement. So that was how I found out. But the reason is, I mean, it's just like all television and
Yeah.
media these days.
Yeah.
New executives came in. They wanted to go with no really clear personality. They wanted to be more like just the news. And so, in my opinion, they kind of got rid of the risk, maybe.
Mhm.
But that comes with the comedy and the fun, and
Right.
people loved
Exactly.
Wait, what back surgery did you get?
Because
Because I just got surgery.
it. Did you?
Yeah. Unless it's a
I
private.
had no. My penis was
Right.
for it. No, I had disc replacement
Same.
in my lobe. Really?
Yeah, but I got in my neck.
Oh, so you got the C1
I got
or whatever?
C5-6.
I don't think anybody cares where you guys got this. If you want to have this comment, I think we should connect later on
All
your
right,
surgery.
fine. I just wanted.
But do you feel better?
No, horrible.
Really?
Do you feel better?
1,000%. I
Oh,
feel
that's really
100% better.
I'm happy.
Man, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Dang.
I know. It's
Scott
like a whole
should give you a
thing.
massage.
Okay. Maybe we'll talk about that offline. Okay.
Okay.
So Barbie movie, have you seen it?
I'm seeing it tonight.
Okay. So you don't have thoughts
Don't
on
do
it
a
yet.
spoiler.
Yeah, I won't tell you anything that happened.
I am excited to see it. I think
Yeah.
that it sounds, from what I've heard, there are men who are like, it's a patriarchy killer, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, shut up.
I know.
You know, it's probably just a great movie.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think it's interesting because I was just saying this to grandma. Like, if you saw it, you might be like, it's a little too feminist.
Yeah.
But
Sure,
I
I
think
would.
that like there are probably some guys out there who will think that way. But I also think you can laugh at that stuff too. Like, it's an exaggeration. Like the Ken character who's like all about the patriarchy, like it's not saying like that's how every man is, but it's like some are, and it's like kind of showing how it could turn into. So I think it's a good message.
Yeah, it's
But
art,
the message,
you know?
it's a message for women, not for men.
No, I think
Is
it's
it
a
a
message.
message for men too?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
think men should like put things in perspective.
Your perspective.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, I do a lot of painting, and so I love artists. I love anything in that kind of medium. And to me, it's like getting upset at a movie. It's like going to a museum and seeing a painting you don't like, and then tweeting about that you don't like it. It's like,
Such a good
shut
point.
up.
Right.
Mhm.
No one cares. It wasn't meant for you then. Relax.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think what the movie has done, and I haven't seen the movie, is that it's fun. People want a little bit, even though
Yeah.
it has a message, they want a little lightness in their lives. We're all so physically exhausted between the politics and war and everything else that's have global warming, whatever you want to say. You need a break. And I think this is a break. The funny thing is in New York, and I don't know how it's being shown in LA, it's being piggybacked with Oppenheimer, which is the story about the maker of the atomic bomb. So somehow
The opposite.
the opposite, which was so funny. AMC did this as a,
Wait, well, but have you seen the TikToks and stuff where guys are like dressed in pink going to the movie theater and they bump into their friend and they're like, what are you going to see? And they're like, Oppenheimer, obviously. And they're like,
Yeah.
really? Like, that's funny because that showed earlier and now is the 8:15 show. Why are you wearing a pink? And then they're like, let's go together to Barbie. And it's so funny.
It is funny. Yeah. They're selling it. It was good merchandising.
Yeah.
Smart. Got everyone back into the theaters. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay. Next thing, I don't know if you follow Alex Earl drama that she was dating this Braxton character and then cheated on him. This is my whole For You page right now. So any thoughts on that?
We might have a different For You page.
Yeah.
I know who Alex Earl is, but
Mhm.
Braxton sounds like every white kid who picked on me in high school.
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like.
Braxton. I actually didn't even know who he was. I think he's like, I don't know if he's an athlete. I think he's a football player. But Braxton sounds like a medication that we would take for our discs to like make
Yeah.
Everything goes back to the discs. I knew
Right.
that.
Everything has. Now we can't get rid of it. Now we can't cut the disc
Get rid of the
conversation.
discs.
I think Braxton sounds like a guy who lives in a sweater vest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Doesn't wear any, and sometimes nothing underneath, just the sweater vest.
Yeah.
That's
I,
good.
I think that's
That's a good
a good one. Okay, so we had our followers send in a lot of dating questions that maybe we can go through
yes.
together. So the first one is divorced. They were married for 18 years, 2 kids in our 20s. I'm 58. Describe herself as lots of baggage. Should I just give up on dating? Grandma Gail.
You're asking me?
All of us.
I don't think you should ever give up. Why would you give up? I mean, you had one bad experience. Get up and go out and find somebody else that is more perhaps suitable for you. However, when you have children, and this becomes the issue, and she's 58 years old, you're not going to date somebody that doesn't have children as well. So you always end up with, double issues, and that becomes a little tricky, and you have to, figure out if a man, I gather this is a woman, if a man wants to take on responsibility of other people's children, or if he has children of his own, then you blend if it becomes a real relationship. But don't sit home moping about it. Go out and start living again. What do you think?
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I also think that you can look at your life in stages as opposed to being maybe close to the end of a part of your life or whatever, because it's just not the case. Like if you look at, all right, well, I've lived a part of my life and now I'm entering this new stage. If you just start from scratch, but you have all your past experience to help you start again, figure out exactly who you want to be, find the right person, it's a much more fun way of looking at it than like, oh, I'm at the tail end of dating, of the dating stage of my life. It's like, no, you're at the beginning of the new dating stage. Get out there, have fun.
I know 80-year-olds who are starting to date again.
Totally. And tell them to wear
what it is.
protection. Yeah,
No,
be
it
safe.
It also makes you, your brain gets bigger when the more you put into it, and the more experience you have with other people. I think you develop more, and I don't think you should ever end your quest for being happy.
That's nice.
Totally.
Okay. Went on a date and the guy said he's had a 5-month dry spell and blames it on the stress of a new job. Is that a red flag?
What's a dry spell about? No, he doesn't want to have sex?
Yes.
Oh.
5-month dry spell because of a new job?
Stress of a new job.
Was he like
a bigger
living
problem.
underground? Was he a cave dweller? What was his job?
Exactly.
Nothing helps me deal with the stress of my new job than having sex with someone I'm attracted to.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, to be fair, I've had multiple friends who've been like, the guy gets home at the end of the day and their mind's on work and they're stressed and they're not in the mood.
That's different.
Why?
No, that's different. You're talking about he's had 5 months of being in a dry spell.
Yeah.
That's a very long time. It's one thing if on a Tuesday night you've been plagued with business and you're not in the mood to be sexually amorous.
Mhm.
You feel like a pizza and go to bed. That's not so terrible if it's once in a while.
Yeah.
But a 5-month a dry spell is something wrong.
Yeah.
You should go see a doctor, I think.
So they've been together for this whole 5 months, or previously to her, she had a 5-month dry spell.
He had.
I'm guessing
Yeah.
it's during their relationship. I didn't
Yeah.
get all of the info.
All right.
That's a bummer. That's to me. Listen, I've been in the long relationship. I know what it's like 3, 4, 5 years in. And I'm sure, again, that compounds as you get into the 10, 20, 30-year relationships. But relationships are work, and you cannot deprive your partner of sex because you're going through something stressful. If that is an important part of your relationship, for some people it's not.
Mhm.
But if you're with a partner who values that intimacy, it's a part of the job of being in a relationship, because I'm sure she's supporting him in a ton of ways. He should at least try, like set up a date night once a
Right.
month.
That's a good one.
Do something.
Yeah.
This guy has issues.
Yeah. So yes, I would say, to answer their question, it is a red flag. Is it a deal breaker? I don't know, unless you like really are trying and putting the work.
In other words, they're in a
I don't, this is not my friend. I don't know, but
Oh,
this is the information that I have.
All right, okay. I think she might move on.
Yeah, it's not great, but if you're like in love and have been together for a really long time, like it's worth trying to figure out a solution. I think like making time for a date night is good, or like figuring it out on a Saturday, like if it's not a work night or something.
Maybe it's so good that he knows that he can't give it to her too often.
You're right.
Otherwise,
that's it. We
He's
solved
holding
dating.
back.
We solved dating.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Let's do it. Went on a date with a guy who was in a 10-year relationship with his previous girlfriend. They shared a dog and a house. They recently broke up. Is it too soon for him to be going out with me?
When you say recently, that could be a week
Yeah.
ago or a year ago. That's the one piece of information we needed. All the other details were not important.
If it's last week, I wouldn't rush into going out with him so fast.
Yeah. Let's say like it was like we don't know, but let's think about the different scenarios. Like if it's been more than a month, what do you think?
Well, I would say if it's been more than a month, but it's been it was a 10-year relationship, I would say right up front, I hope you're ready to start dating again. I know you were in a very long relationship, and don't worry, there's no pressure. I mean, I would take the pressure out of
because
the
like
first
what
date.
if that person wants to find a boyfriend like pretty immediately, then they're kind of
I wouldn't go out with somebody who's had a 10-year relationship unless I knew it was several months down in the past. You can't be over somebody after 10 years in a month, I don't think.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even about being over them. A lot of guys, especially when they get out of a long relationship, they look at it as like whatever it's called when spring and Brock, whatever the Amish people do, where they get a little
They go into town.
yeah. And so it's like, even if they do think they're over it, and they might not care about their ex at all. I think we've all been in that like I dated someone for 2 months, and when we broke up, it killed me. And then I've been with someone for 5 years. When we broke up, I was like, this should have happened 2 years ago. I'm fine.
Right.
Yes.
So I don't think that matters, but I do think this guy, even if he tells you, because I've been out of a relationship and told people, oh, I'm ready. And I was being honest to myself, but that's because I didn't know that I had some more healing to do. I had some more experiencing life to do as a single person. So just know that regardless of what he says and how authentic he might be, you need to proceed with caution.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's always kind of true, because even if you've been single for 2 years, you could still have healing to do and you could still be working on yourself. So I think, yes, like listen to what someone is telling you, but then also their actions will make it clear pretty soon enough anyway. Like if he says, yeah, I'm totally ready after 10 years, but then is being flaky with you and doesn't want you to meet their friends and whatever it is, then that kind of answers your question for you.
I would.
Yeah, you could always ask the question too of like, what have you done to get over your last relationship? What have you done to heal?
Yeah, I would be honest.
Totally.
Especially at a certain age. I wouldn't, if you're in your 30s, you're mature, you're adults, hopefully at this point, say, you know what, how'd you get him over him so quickly? I mean, that's an amazing, you were together a long time. I would be very upfront with that. And if he says, well, I worked on it or I haven't worked on it, then you have to judge by how he is on a date with you.
Yeah. Although that's
Kim,
kind
when
of
was your Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's kind of like treating it like therapy, which you always say, like, don't get too deep.
No, but before you get hung up with the guy, if somebody's been in a very long-term relationship, it's like a marriage. When somebody gets divorced, it takes a very long time to heal. It could be the worst marriage in the world, but you still have to heal from the hurts. You have to heal from the issues. And I think when you're starting out and you're all bleary-eyed and you say, oh, he's so fabulous, but make sure,
like, think logically a little bit. Yeah.
You have to think that, you know what, let's hear his story before you get too involved.
Right.
I'd be a little wary.
Yeah. When was your relationship, Kim?
Last year I had like a short one.
About 6-7 months.
Huh?
It was about 6-7 months.
Yeah, I guess that's short.
Wasn't that short?
Okay.
That's
yeah.
decent. That's a mid length.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. But then I've had a lot of like situationships about that length.
Right.
Yeah. So then, I mean, my last like really, really long-term one of like 5 years was
that
before COVID. So since then it's been all like short ones.
How long did it take you, looking back? So say when that ended, how long did it take you think, to be ready to date again seriously? Like, were you looking, you're like, oh, maybe I wasn't ready when I thought I was, or maybe
Also, you were very young.
I was young.
It was a college. It was a college boyfriend.
Yeah, but then after college too.
Yes.
But like, I think that was a little bit in the scenario of like, since it was long, I was already kind of mourning the end of the relationship while still in the relationship. So once I got out, I was like super ready to be dating. I don't think I wanted a boyfriend right away, but like I was definitely open to like experiences and going on dates with people. But then I've had situationships since then that were only 4 months that took me a year to get over. So similar to what you were saying.
Yeah. And for me, one thing I usually look for is, how have you like prioritized growth? Not just like with the therapy and not just with this, but like, is your life better than it was before? Or are you like, even if you don't know you're wallowing, are you kind of wallowing a little bit? Like when I broke up with my long relationship, that's when I started painting. And like I did all these and I was like, then she,
wow. Wait, let's see.
Behind him, I see.
Oh, wow.
I love that one.
So cool.
Was that a self-portrait?
No, it's my buddy Hudson. That was my first ever portrait of someone. And
okay,
and then
neat.
This is an old Henri Magritte painting that I
Right.
just decided to copy. And then this is an old anti-drug ad. Like, this is your brain.
Oh,
This is
cool.
drugs,
I
your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
It's eggs and
yeah.
I see.
here's me as a centaur.
Dead.
You know
That-
what's wonderful? That's a wonderful outlet to be able to paint. I just was watching when Tony Bennett died, and he was saying they were showing his apartment and all the things that he all his accomplishments, and his biggest accomplishment was his ability to paint. And I don't think he ever sold anything, but he did the most beautiful paintings, and it evidently helped him be the artist he was. And I think it's such a great outlet that you have. I'm jealous. I always wanted to paint and draw.
No, you could do it. I couldn't paint either.
Did you learn that? Did you go to school? That's just something you just picked up it's fabulous.
That's pretty impressive.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I put in a ton of hours because like this painting took 20 hours and it was maybe like my 7th painting I ever did, but I had done 6 20-hour paintings before that. So it's not a lot of paintings, but it's 100-something hours.
No, it's great.
Yeah. If you ever come to LA, we'll have a painting day. I will bring us to the
That would
backyard.
be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, you are invited. It'll be a double date. And Gail, if you want to, we'll find
Bring
someone.
coffee.
Gail,
No, she's
I'm
married.
still married. I'm married 60 years.
do you have an LA? Do you have an LA date though? I'm kidding.
I don't have an LA
like
date.
coffee.
I can't cheat on mine. He's been good to me. I can't do that.
No, I'm with you 100%. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, then you're all invited.
Thank you.
So it's like very surrealist vibes. Is that the aesthetic, or you're still playing around with like?
No, because the other.
I'm done painting.
You're done?
I'm done painting. Yeah.
No.
What do you mean?
I did it for like.
We just scheduled a painting date.
What's wrong with you?
I'm done painting for myself and like painting for like, one, I don't have any more room on the walls, and 2, I have learned that, and this is something that I think is really important. And I don't know if I've ever said this, but to me, it was such a brain click. Like I started painting because I wanted to be artistic. Like I thought, oh, well, I do TV and I do comedy and I do this, but I want to be artistic. Like I want to seem like sophisticated in a way. I think my 24-year-old brain was like, okay, what you do is cool, but it's all so vapid. It's, entertainment, it's blah, blah, blah. And so I started painting. And then I saw this video about painters and how the greatest painters of the times were just basically doing as much as the medium would allow, as much as any medium would allow. Like nobody had seen motion in paintings after portraits. It was just portraits. And then someone did like motion. They're like, how'd you do that? And so that was at the forefront of the art form. And then I realized the forefront of like today's art form is media. It is writing. It is creating a television show or a comedy special. Like I don't need to pick something because I think it's more than the other. Like I might as well
only do it if you enjoy doing it. Absolutely.
Which I do, but I have so many other goals that I want to accomplish. Like I want to do a comedy tour. I want to be like a successful comedian. I want, and it's all kind of new, but to me, that would be so much more fun than like my job being to wake up and paint alone.
Okay.
I think what you're saying is super relatable in that like you feel like if you have free time in the day, especially maybe as someone who like is self-employed or like works in this kind of industry, where it's like if you have free time in the day, you want to be putting it toward your career and how to get yourself further in that, and like being innovative. But I think that also you're allowed to take time for yourself that isn't about forwarding you in any sort of way and could just be truly about like therapeutic, whatever. And maybe when you're having that moment, a thought comes to you about when you actually step outside of like that.
We've analyzed him.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's beautiful. I love that. I think that's absolutely correct.
You're right, Kim.
Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, I want to end the episode with a game we play with all of our guests called Grandma Gail's Old Fashioned Dating Quiz. So we are going to go through some hypotheticals.
It's very easy. Trust me. This is very mundane.
We are going to go through some scenarios and decide whether you're more of a modern dater or more of a traditional dater.
Okay.
Okay. Hunter, would you rather receive a call or a text from your partner if it's just to say hi?
Oh man, I prefer calling, but I also work a lot, so I hate having to decline a call. So like, this is kind of an in-between answer, but I like
2 answers.
Fine, Grandma Gail.
Give us the one you really want.
A call. I'd rather have a call.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you sleep with someone on the first date?
Would I? Yes. Have I? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Dating apps or setups?
The setups have never worked for me. Not once in my life. Like I'm a very dark, like my comedy's really dark. Like you have to like me to like me. And sometimes on dating apps, like one of my, hinge prompts.
Yeah.
One of my hinge prompts was like, I'm looking forward ... My sister, she disappeared when I was 11. If anyone has any information, she's blonde, blue away. And so I got a lot of girls who would message being like, that's hysterical. And I'd be like, we're going on a date. That's great. You got the joke. And then I'd have girls who'd be like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Sad.
No, like they would think he was serious and be like, oh God, I feel so bad.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Yeah, no. Like to think that you would share that information in a hinge prompt is so delusional.
Right after my other prompt was my greatest strength in a relationship ... triceps. So if that was my
shirtless picture, it was a perfect sandwich to the meat. Yeah.
So exactly. If that's what you're saying, then probably know that I'm kidding. So yes, I think I would prefer a dating app, but actually Instagram has been my most successful dating tool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Would you move in together before getting engaged or wait until you're engaged or married to live together?
I would move in together before getting engaged because that sucks if you move in with someone and you realize that they're just such a drag.
Right.
How long should someone wait though? This is a hypothetical. Obviously, it has nothing to do with my own situation, but how long should someone wait before they do move in with someone?
Your answer is going to be way shorter than mine, but
after 2 months.
Yeah.
But that's a constant dating. So I would say
like
3 to
exclusive.
exclusive dating for maybe up to 6 months. And then if you're not, after 6 months, if you're not living together, then
I think I would give my like advice to my friends to wait at least a year before
oh
moving
my
in.
God.
A year?
A
A
year?
year of dating?
No, it's too long. Nobody wants to date a year.
No, if
That's
any of my
endless.
friends now who've been dating for like 6 months said they were moving in with their boyfriend, I would talk about them behind their
I
back.
don't care. Well, then that's ridiculous. It's
I,
ridiculous. You could be married in a year. Who needs to wait so long? You're not getting younger by the minute. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I know, but like, what if
I
you
actually-
move in and then move out? Have to move out.
Well, if you have to move out, then that's better to know that. All right, let's finish
Yeah.
the quiz.
But I also think Gail, maybe something that like you've experienced is like you've had enough time to like get that perspective of like life is shorter than we all think when we're
Yeah.
20 years old. And so the idea of like that's where I'm at too, where I'm like, I've dated a lot of people. There are very few people, nobody in recent times that I've liked as much as I like this person that I'm now dating. And I know that I'm not 22. It's not my second girlfriend ever.
Right.
I'm
Mhm.
32 and I know what I know. But and
Yeah.
if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Luckily.
Exactly. But you got to try. If you don't jump in with it at some point, you'll never know. You can't keep pushing
Yeah.
the thing down the road. We're not talking
Okay, but
about 25-year-olds. We're talking about mature adults.
But I think that people now, if they move in together, it's kind of with the understanding that they want to get married.
yes, or that they.
So then I wouldn't date someone for 6 months and then be like, let's move in
You
because
know, if you know, you know. All right.
I
so
think
the
it's
next
not
question.
about
It's not about
No, sorry,
time.
yeah.
I don't think it's about time. You could date somebody for 5 years and not be ready, but you could date somebody for 3 months and say, this is the right person for me. And then it is. I mean, it really is your individual connection with that person. And I don't think you should put a time limit on it.
Yeah, and it's also you don't need, you can have the intention of getting married. I think
Right.
every relationship you're in, you should have the intention
Of a
of spending
serious
a
relationship.
long time with
Right.
someone, right? Whether it's
Mhm.
marriage or not. But like if if you decide, hey, let's be exclusive, the intention should be we're going to
Right.
spend the rest of our lives together.
yeah.
Correct.
So to me, it's like even if marriage is not the term we use, it's like, yeah, I want to move in with someone.
Right.
Well, let's spend more time together.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that's fair.
I think that's fair.
Mhm. Okay, last one. Who should pay for the date? Should it be one person in a relationship or should
In the
you
beginning.
split or alternate? Yeah, like first 10 dates.
Oh, me for sure, the guy.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
also I'm in a fortunate position. I know that there are guys out there maybe who
Can't, right.
can't afford it right now, and that's okay. But it's just about communication. Like I love
Or
if
we share a
my
Coke.
totally yeah. Let's share a Coke and that's it, and we
Exactly.
can't get more. Let's get the
Right.
breadsticks. They're free,
Exactly.
and then let's
Yeah.
get out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do love when my partner decides to like forcefully buy me something because I don't allow it ever.
Mhm.
Like if I buy a $300 dinner, which is rare, by the way, I'm like throwing that number out. I don't do that. I'm like, let's go have like, I'll make dinner. It'll be delicious.
Yeah.
But say I take her out to a $150 dinner and then she buys me a coffee the next day. I'm so excited for the coffee. It's
Yeah.
like the greatest coffee I've
Oh,
ever had in my
That's
life.
fair, because it's a thought, and she's thinking.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's also
And it's
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say there's also all these TikToks that are like, I can't think of the sound they use for it, but the woman like it's the next day coffee after he's bought her like all this shit and she's like pulling out her credit card, like she's such a boss, like
Yeah.
for the one thing. Yeah, that's like
It's
an
just appreciation
unspoken
too.
Right,
exactly.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. No matter what stage you're in, that's nice. All right, he's in between.
Yeah, a little bit more
A
modern.
little more modern. than
Yeah.
traditional.
Everyone keeps
Did I
getting 3 and
pass?
2.
It's the same. 3 and 2.
No, but it's like for
whatever
different
reasons.
things.
We have to change our questions.
Yeah, good.
We're getting a little.
All right.
We're getting a lot of the same answers.
You've
But
been
how do
now
I do,
on
everybody,
Gail?
and now everybody moves in. That question, I think, was predated maybe when we first started the podcast. We might
Yeah,
have-
but that was traditional.
was
for-
traditional.
yeah,
Well,
so that's the
traditional,
game.
we would have not, right. we
Yeah.
wouldn't have moved in.
Maybe it should be pre or post 6 months. That is like
That could
that's
be a good
the
question.
number.
Right, the 6
'Cause, like, I've been
months is a good thing.
My brother's been dating his girlfriend for 6 months and he's like, I don't want to move in. He likes being alone though.
Well, that's
He
different.
like, he loves his alone time. And I'm like, for me, if I'm with someone, I'm happy to just do my work across the table from someone
Right.
if we're both
Well,
working
that's
from
very
home
nice.
that day. I love it. It's great. Little footsie under the table.
Well, you'll be a good partner no matter what, because you know how to share. See, that's very good. That's a big thing. I
Yeah.
like him.
I can tell. It's like
can I
so
tell you
personal.
Can I tell you the surprise I got from my girlfriend? She doesn't know yet. It hasn't happened.
Yes.
But by the time
one
this comes out,
right? Okay.
Yeah.
it'll be done. So I've been telling her that I have a little surprise thing for her on Sunday. She hurt her body, her upper body, and she's been going through some pain. So I bought a professional massage table and candles with like her favorite scents.
That is
And
so nice.
I have
Now you have to get a masseuse. Or you
I'm the
gonna do
masseuse. Are you kidding, Gail? What are you talking about? Look at these meat paws. I'm doing it.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Could you imagine like sets up a whole romantic thing and this is your masseuse, Todd. And then you just leave.
Just a better looking version of me.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm the masseuse, and then it's gonna end. I have like little like drinks that I'm gonna make, like spa water and stuff, and make it like a full
Lovely.
like 1.5 hour experience. So
All right.
and now I have the table
so
forever.
Good job.
That is boyfriend goals, guys. If they're not doing that for you, break up with them.
Exactly.
Yeah, if they haven't done that,
You're setting the bar very high.
I don't care. Don't settle. You'll find your one for sure.
Okay.
Kim, I think we know who your one is.
Oh my God. He like clearly wants to set me up with
his friend.
His friend.
Okay. Well, if you go to LA, you'll go out with him.
Exactly.
When are you coming to LA?
I don't have plans to come to LA, but
You're busy this summer. So
yeah.
we'll see you in the fall.
Yeah, maybe we'll go. We have some overdue
Well,
things.
you're gonna drag me out there.
Well, we have to do the painting
I
day.
was gonna come into this thing. I think you're going out on your own.
Maybe. Hunter, thank you so much for joining us. Tell everyone how they can follow you, how they can watch the new show, buy tickets, everything they need to know.
Yeah, it's all on my Instagram. The little link tree in my bio, right above my OnlyFans, is a link to Crowdpleasers, as well as my podcast, Friends with Benz. We actually changed the title recently.
Your handle is
at Hunter March. Yeah, and if you guys want the tickets to Crowdpleasers, the show is on August 9th, Regent Theater, downtown LA. Gail, Kim, if either of you are in town, the tickets are on me.
It's in LA, so
no, I'm teasing. If
we're in town.
If we're in town.
Don't tease me about that, Gail. I got my hopes up for a second.
Another great episode of Excuse My Grandma. Thanks for listening. Follow us on social media at Excuse My Grandma, or me personally at Kim Merstein. And we'll see you soon.